Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great week. Here's the one thing you need to know about this week. You've probably heard of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is an independent organization. Many of the individuals that serve on the organization are presidential appointed individuals. Others are heads of major banks around the country. Now, the purpose of this organization is they get together periodically throughout the year and they set interest rate policy. And what that means is think about borrowing money for a mortgage, borrowing money for a car, or even using your credit cards. They set the interest rates that we use basically every day to make purchases and so forth. So if you think about it, if they lower interest rates, what does that do? Well, that would incentivize people to maybe get a mortgage, maybe buy a car, maybe even use that credit card more. If they raise interest rates, well, obviously if rates are higher, maybe we don't buy that car, maybe we don't put that, expenditure on the credit card, etc. Now, the reason they raise or lower is for two purposes. They have what's called a dual mandate. This is very important. The Fed's dual mandate is to target a specific inflation rate in the United States. Now, inflation, that's a bad word, right? We don't want inflation. Actually, we want a small price improvement, small, every year so that it allows for growth both in wages, standard of living, etc. And believe it or not, a small price appreciation is just fine. Too much, however, becomes a problem. Think about what we've seen over the last couple of years. The first mandate is a targeted inflation rate. The second mandate of the dual mandate is stable employment. They want to make sure that Americans have a job. If they can get a job, if they can work, they want to make sure they have a job. Their one tool for this is interest rates. And again, think about it. If they're raising interest rates, well, maybe that permits or should say hinders people from buying a house, getting a mortgage, buying a car. Well, what does that do? Well, if I'm not going to buy a house, I don't need somebody to work on the house. I don't need somebody to build the house. Maybe I don't need to go to Lowe's or Home Depot to buy stuff for my house. So that means maybe they're not going to hire as many people, etc. So they would raise interest rates if maybe the inflation rate is too high. Okay, you've heard about how terrible inflation is. I'm certain your parents have talked about it. You've heard me talk about it. You probably even recognize it. So the Fed has been raising rates over the last several years to try and fight inflation. They've done a good job because even though prices are still high, they're still high. Those eggs are still $5 and $6 a dozen. The rate of inflation, the speed at which it's going up, has slowed considerably. So they've effectively done their job. However, now we're starting to see job loss. We're starting to see people losing their jobs. So the Fed needs to shift gears a little bit. And this week, for the first time in over a year, they lowered the interest rates. They took rates down. And the projection is that they will continue to lower rates both throughout the rest of this year and into next year. Well, think about it this way. If rates are going down, which incentivizes us to spend more money on our credit cards, buy a car, buy a house, well, guess what? That's good for companies that sell houses or build houses, or it's good for Lowe's, it's good for Home Depot, it's good for the companies that are going to swipe your credit card, which means what? Many of those companies are in our portfolio. They're in the S&P 500. So stocks went up on that news. The minute the Fed lowered the interest rate, the market responded to the upside. And that's what you need to know about this week.